You've clicked on this video because you want to know if it's possible to get your dream physique in 30 days. And I wouldn't blame you for believing that it is. I'm sure you've seen many 30-day transformations on YouTube alone. And trust me, I've been there, I've been in your shoes. 30-day transformations do not work. And unfortunately, sorry Chloe, neither do 10-minute ab workouts. Hello, my name is Peter and welcome to the channel. So the big question is, how did we go from this physique, fast forward a few months, to this physique at sub 10% body fat? And no, I'm not a full-time YouTuber. I'm not so-called fitness influencer full-time.
What?
I work a 40-hour week, as do most people, and yes, it is possible to get this diced on a 40-hour week and being a normal human with normal genetics. Let me explain how, and at the end of the video, we're going to go over some tips and tricks that kept me on track and helped me get shredded. So my story starts just after Christmas last year, after enjoying the winter bulk and indulging on all the good holiday foods. And guess what guys, that's okay, we need to enjoy life, because when you're in the gym and you have that higher body fat, you can move weight so much more easily, your strength goes through the roof and you feel invincible. However, when the shirt comes off and you look in the mirror and reality hits you because you can't see your abs anymore, well then, you know what time it is. It's time to get started with the cut. So if you're like me, which I'm guessing you are because you're watching this video, this happens to us every single year. And what do? We're like, oh, let's live in the bulk, let's build as much muscle as possible. We leave it till 30 days before summer and then we're like, right, let's cut, crash diet. You get a little bit leaner, maybe 13% if you're lucky. But guess what? You rebound really quickly and by September, you're up at 17 to 20% body fat. Well, this year, things had to change. And the big thing is, I had you guys watching. All 12 subscribers at the time, absolutely elite, but actually, you 12 people don't know how important you were for this, because it was my job to make sure that I succeeded on what I said 6 months ago, and that I could get the body fat that I wanted. So my cut started on the 8th of January, weighing in at 85.2 kilos, one day before my birthday. I know, right? Smart decision, but we all make those. And 20 weeks ago, guys, that's when I started the summer cut. 20 weeks, not 30 days, because 30 days does not work. First things first, cut your calories. That's all we need to do.
Calories in, calories out.
So I cut down from 3,000 to 2,500 calories. And over the first couple of weeks, I lost a lot of weight quickly. Yes, some of it was water, but I was continuing to lose too quickly. So I upped it to 2,500 calories plus whatever my Garmin told me during the workouts, which was between 300 and 500 calories. And that was a steady pace, losing roughly 1% of my body weight, so 400 to 500 grams every week. So why did I want to lose weight slower? That makes no sense, right? Well, for me, it makes perfect sense. The faster we lose weight, the more likely I'm going to lose all those hard-earned gains that I spent all of winter bulking and eating and gymming trying to achieve. So what's the point in crash dieting, dropping your weight so quickly that all you lose is muscle with some fat? Remember, I'm like most people. I'm not a full-time YouTuber. I'm a regular bloke. I do a 9-to-5 job, work 40 hours a week. And yeah, there were some obstacles on the way. It's not always going to be smooth sailing. I spend every other weekend at my girlfriend's house where we eat out a lot and we have family meals. And really difficult to track, although I did my very best, and thank goodness for MyFitnessPal, but more on that later. And eating out's easy to track, and again, family meals, fairly easy to track, but the problem comes in with the calorie density. So at home I eat large amounts, low calories, where there it's small amounts, high calories. So ghrelin is sitting at the back of my head knocking, telling me to eat more because I'm starving. Those things really make a big difference. So the way in which I overcame this, I ate a little bit more on those weekends. And then during the week, so my overall calories for the week, I would diet a little bit harder with more calorie or less calorie dense foods, more volume, and that made such a difference. So my overall net calories were still the same, but I allowed myself to eat a little bit more when I was there. The second obstacle for me was a big one, because I wanted to get to 8% body fat by today, the 6th of June. And guess what? That didn't happen, and I cut that off 4 weeks ago, where I decided to maintain at roughly 9.5% body fat, as you can see in my skin fold video, which I'll link after this. This is because towards the end of a working day, when the brain's feeling fried, ghrelin's knocking you out, and all you can think about is food, I was letting my patients down. My focus was slipping. I had a bit of brain fog, and I could not afford for that to happen. I have to give my patients the best, and if I need to do referrals or anything like that, they need to be on point. So I decided that 9.5 to 10% is happy.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Aim for that 80% or sometimes even 50% of your dream physique, as Coach Greg always says. Mine and my girlfriend's 2-year anniversary also fell during this cut, and guess what? You need to be able to live your life. You need to be able to do those things with friends and family, and trust me, you can. And I did a whole almost 20-minute video on how I still trained, how I still ate well, and you can go check that out after this. So there's a lot more to my cut than just diet. For me, I love going to the gym, and now when I'm on a bulk, you've got that higher body fat percentage, I'm able to crank out the reps on all exercises a lot heavier. On my cut, I felt terrible in the gym. I feel weak, which is horrible, but I keep myself going, and I discovered Dr. Mike Israel, aka Renaissance Periodization. That's a tough one to spell, but good luck when you search for that one. I'll link his channel down below. So what Dr. Mike taught me is that I needed to up my volume. As I got leaner, my volume that I needed to achieve to maintain my muscle mass, not to build muscle at this point, that's out the window, but to maintain my muscle mass had to go up. So I went for the 10 plus rep range for most of my exercises, and I really enjoyed it. The pump was insane, it felt really good, and I was hitting 15 rep PBs. So you're still hitting PBs, you still want to get into the gym, and the pump felt so much better. That actually changed the dynamic of my training, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Right, so I am a gym bro, and as much as I don't like to admit it, I do cardio because why not? And it's healthy, so do your cardio. But for me, I would get home from work and I would be absolutely starving, so I'd shove healthy food, meal prepped in the fridge, into my face, and then I'd look at MyFitnessPal and say, right, we need to hit a deficit here. So I'd go for a walk, I'd go walk on the beach, I'd go walk out in the mountains in Chroma, small hill. I would hop on the exercise bike, treadmill, you name it, I would do it. And when I was at my girlfriend's house, I would follow a horse around the hacks. So awesome fun, and it allowed me to eat more. In my brain, if I had to cut my calories down from 2,300, let's say, to 2,000, I would be a smaller person. I would have less mass on me than if I got my deficit through cardio. So I would rather eat 2,300 calories and do 300 calories worth of cardio than cut my diet down to 2,200 calories, because in my head, and was proven, I would be smaller. So we've discussed some of the challenging parts. But here are my 5 tips that got me through my cut, and hopefully one day might get you through one of your cuts. The first one is Diet Cola. Now you might be thinking, what? That's absolutely nuts. How does that help? Well, trust me, it helped me a huge amount. And yes, I shopped for mine at Lidl. Shout out to Lidl, absolutely insane. Love Lidl fake Cokes, epic. But that's the story for another day. I really found that if I took a 2-liter bottle of fake Coke, put it in my bag between patients, drink some of that, my hunger levels would be significantly lower. There was a period of time where all the Lidls in the area had nothing, and I was drinking lemonade or just water, and my ghrelin was through the roof. So Diet Coke, and I believe there are research papers to support this, that Diet Coke can actually help keep the weight off. The next hack for me was loads and loads and loads of protein.
Talk about protein, I love protein. I love protein too.
We know you love protein.
Now, protein is very satiating. You hear that on every diet video, eat your protein. I went extreme on some days, and on those days when my protein was 200 grams plus, I felt a lot less hungry. So yeah, it definitely satiates you. So snack throughout the day, and when you snack, snack on protein. Diet hack number 3. Do not drink your calories. One caramel latte from Starbucks is 190 calories. Now the volume in that is negligible. You could have one full chicken breast of 4 ounces at 136 calories and add in salad items, cucumber, lettuce, any form of greens, and hit 190 calories and fill your plate. Which do you think is going to keep you fuller? I know for me, it's the chicken breast salad any day. The biggest hack, so hack number 4, for me anyway, is my pre-workout first thing in the morning. 300 milligrams of caffeine at 6:30 in the morning is absolutely insane.
Hungry, baby.
It keeps me going and keeps me satiated for my whole workout, plus up until my lunch break at work, which means all I need to have is a protein snack after gym to make sure I've got some protein in. Reduces my calories significantly. Tip number 5, guys, as much as bro science loves to beat up his biceps, don't beat yourselves up if you have a cheat meal. That is absolutely fine. Just make sure you get right back on it as soon as possible, and you need to let yourself have a break every so often. You see, even a normal person like me can get shredded, just not in 30 days. You can start with 30 days and see that progress, because you will see some good progress after 30 days. And let that motivation when you look in the mirror fuel you for what you can actually achieve if you give yourself time. Do not rush a cut. It never ends well and usually ends in a massive rebound. We want to get the weight off, and more importantly, we want to keep the weight off. So it's June. Summertime is here in the UK, although out there, it's probably about 6 degrees, so summer's all relative, isn't it? But for the first time in my life, in a summer holiday, I am beach ready before it begins. How insane is that? That is such an epic feeling. It's not one I've had before, but trust me, it's absolutely awesome. I'm looking so forward to the summer where I can take the shirt off and not feel self-conscious. For me, that's a big deal. And on top of that, I've maintained my muscle mass and some of my strength. And as you can see in some other videos, I can still bench 100 kilos or 225 pounds, but come on, let's start working in kilos worldwide, just makes sense. For 5 to 6 reps with control right at the end of the cut. I couldn't ask for any more. Now, if you're not like me, or like last year and the year before and the year before that me, you've left your cut too late. Don't start it. My advice to you would be, do not start your cut. Maintain. No one really cares if you get to the shirt and look shredded. It's only you that cares, and for me, I care. So that is irrelevant. Do not start that cut. Main gain over the summer, bulk a little bit in the winter, and start your next year summer cut early. Give yourself the time next year. It's not going to make that much of a difference, and a crash diet can ruin a lot of things. It can change your eating habits, mess around with your hormone levels, lower your testosterone level. Crash dieting is never the answer. On top of that, you see a whole bunch of stuff on social media now about, I can't even say, but semaglutide, however you pronounce that. I'm not one for the peptides, but anyway, don't turn to those things. Don't turn to the PEDs. Do it right. Give yourself time in the following year. Might not even be next year. If you're new to training, don't worry about getting shredded. I've been training 9.5 years, and this is probably the first time I've been properly lean. It doesn't matter. Keep slightly more body fat, maintain a healthy body fat, and build muscle. Main gain, and then when the time comes to cut, just do it right. Your body will thank you for it later, and so will your family when you've got years more life to live. So if you want to look into more on how I got this shredded, what exercises I was doing, I've got loads of videos on my channel. Go check some of those out. But what's got me at the moment is there's so much hate in the fitness industry between the big buff bro science lifters and then the nerd science lifters. And I've made a video on it. I think it's really important that we accept each other for who we are. And the most important exercise is the one you do forever. So do the one you enjoy. And I've got a full video on that linked right up there.